Sonic Adventure DX is truly, truly, truly insane. It's a drug-induced fever dream of random ideas, random games that have no business existing next to one another, all coming together to create what is apparently a singular gaming experience? You've got the classic 3D Sonic high-speed stages, you've got a racing game with Tails, treasure hunting with Knuckles, survival horror with Amy? This, with Big the Cat. Yeah. And finally, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare with E102 Gamma. So how exactly does this qualify as a Sonic game when approximately 83% of its gameplay has nothing to do with the guy? Well, it's tricky. For starters, his name is in the title, and that's it. But hey, that won't stop us from playing it. After all, yes, I am reading this correctly. This is in fact a Sonic game. Alright, glad we got that out of the way. In all seriousness though, Sonic Adventure is complicated. It's obvious that so much energy and effort was put towards making this an absolute barn burner of a game. It's a game that'll floor you with its high-speed action, but then make you sit through 500 slow, plotting cutscenes. It'll make you cry due to the emotional weight that some of said cutscenes carry, but then have you laughing your ass off at the questionable dialogue and stilted voice acting.
Whoa! A Chaos Emerald! Whoa!
It'll make you feel like you're playing the best Sonic game ever one minute, and then have you wishing you were doing literally anything else the next. In order to organize all these conflicting attitudes, I think it's best to start from the beginning with our main man, Sonic. His story is easily the most straightforward and predictable, which is a good thing. You're running through 10 classic 3D Sonic stages, some of which are arguably the best in the whole series. I love Speed Highway, I love Red Mountain, I love Windy Valley, holy shit do I love Lost World Zone, and good God almighty do I despise Skydeck Zone. Skydeck Zone is basically one massive glitch bucket. It sends you through way too many tight spaces that have these automatic sections where you have no control, and turns out tight spaces and automatic sections don't mix. It tries to incorporate a ship tilting mechanic that leads to nothing but more problems with camera placement and player coordination. Aside from that blemish, Sonic's stages and thereby his whole story is the biggest possible highlight of Sonic Adventure. This is the peak. Go figure. His story is very simple, as it's mostly just him trying to hand Eggman another massive L. No emotional character arcs or anything like that. Thank goodness. Oh boy, it's Tails, and he is here to arc the fuck out! It makes sense, I suppose. Tails up to this point has basically been nothing but Sonic's sidekick, but I imagine he has bigger aspirations than that. His gameplay isn't anything different from Sonic's, except that his stages are cut in half lengthwise, and you have to beat Sonic to the end to actually advance. Now, despite the massive gap in logic this poses, I can see the metaphorical significance this symbolizes for Foxboy. His whole life he's always struggled as Sonic's second, always struggled to keep up with him and step out on his own and out of Sonic's shadow. So to have him beat Sonic at his own game multiple times over demonstrates the growth in his character. Tails has to set out on his own to find his own confidence, to not always be so reliant on Sonic. And he manages that by the end of his arc where he saves an entire city from going boom and handing Eggman yet another L. All on his own. It's cute, really, is what it is. And you could argue that it's inspiring to young kids trying to find their way. Young kids like me. When I played this game as a kid, I was floored by Tails' story. I felt like I was him, just a kid trying to make sense of it all. It's just too bad they gave Tails so many shortcuts in every one of his stages, making them all pathetically easy, but I digress. Knuckles' story goes back to a no BS approach. No arcs for this guy, he's already one bad motherfucker. He's also a not very bright one at that. He gets tricked by Eggman yet again into handing over the Chaos Emeralds and advancing his evil plans. Poor Knuckles, at least he's a pretty good treasure hunter though. I know this might be a hot take, but I've always liked the Knuckles treasure hunting games. I've always been really good at navigation, so these levels come real easy to me, and I don't know, it's just really satisfying whenever I find each piece of the Master Emerald. Leave me alone. There's also a nice free roam element to his stages that you don't really get with any other character. You're flying around at your own pace, carving your own paths, approaching each level differently. It all adds up to a different experience each time because of the random placement of each emerald. But holy crap, am I sick of fighting Chaos 4 by this point. By this point in the game, you will have fought this one boss, Chaos 4, for a third time. You fight him with Sonic, and then Tails, and then Knuckles, and he is a really poorly designed boss at that. The main problem is that the lily pads you jump around on halt your momentum each time you land on one, leading to a very awkward stop-start situation where you can't really get anywhere very well unless you can fly. Huh. I guess we see now why Sonic actually fucking sucks. Next up is Amy's story, and oh boy. We are back to the touching, emotional, crybaby drama as she tries to save a baby bird from captivity and reunite it with its family, convert one of Eggman's robots from a Sith to a Jedi, and on top of that tries to discover her own independence from Sonic. Jeez, I'm starting to think Sonic is not a very good friend. Now, Amy's story is that point in Sonic Adventure where things start to get weird. It's that point in the game where you start to think that maybe this isn't weed, Shaggy. Your goal is to make it through each stage while being chased by a robot that makes me very uncomfortable. And aside from that, I'm actually down with this. It's refreshing to be able to slow things down and just do some old-fashioned platforming and puzzle solving. The added element of the robot chasing you encourages you to keep up the pace, making for a more relaxed but also not relaxed platforming experience. Okay, guys, so listen, next up we have Big the Cat's gameplay, which, you know what, I decided a script would not do this any justice, so I'm just gonna go ahead and explain what you're doing here. Okay, how do I put this? Basically, you're trying to fish for your friend Froggy, and, well, I mean, I don't need to tell you at this point how awful it is. I mean, it's the most infamous thing possible about this game. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows what it is, what it's about, and just what kind of hell this whole situation with Big the Cat's fishing really is. Now, on the bright side here, I was able to figure it out to a point where I could basically cheese every single level following the first one, that is, because I feel like with Big the Cat's gameplay, the first level, Twinkle Park, is probably the most infamous because it's the first one. It's the one where you're doing this whole fishing thing for the first time and you're trying to figure this whole clusterfuck out for the first time. And so pretty much 95% of all players who played this for the first time probably spent a good 45 minutes on this one level before they finally beat it, myself included. Now, once I was able to figure out how this whole broken system works, every level afterward became a piece of cake. So basically what you're doing is you're trying to catch Froggy, you have your lure in the water, and you have to move it from side to side to get his attention, and then right as he comes to bite it, you have to, I guess, hold down on the control stick, which is something that I don't think the game ever tells you to do. Unless I'm wrong, I don't know. But then you hold down and then you have to bring him in. Now the key here is your line will build up tension, and you'll see it in your little tension bar on the right upper and the lower right hand side. The higher up it gets, the more likely you are to lose. Now what you got to do is basically just when it gets really high up there and it's about to break, you just got to just let go of the controller. Just stop everything. Just put the controller down for 2 seconds and let it untense. And then from there, just every now and then kind of just move from left to right a little bit to release a little more tension, and then just keep holding the A button to reel them in. That's how you do it. Now, it's a lot easier said than done, of course, but having done it enough, I was able to do it really well, to the point where I got really good at it, to the point where I was able to catch Froggy pretty much first try within 30 seconds every time. Thank God. That's Big the Cat for you. I don't know what else to say about him other than that he sucks. He really, really sucks. Oh God, what are we doing? Last but certainly not least, we have E102 Gamma. Now, this right here If you have yet to cry even once during any part of this whole epic, dramatic storyline, this is most likely the part where you will bawl. The gameplay aspect is a non-factor, if we're being honest, because all it really is mindless shooty-shooty. But the plot is what shines the most. E102 Gamma tells the story of a nothing special, evil Eggman robot who, through some cosmic interference by a new character Tikal, learns how to feel emotions, and discovers the importance of protecting the ones you care about. He slips into a dream world where he meets Tikal, and she shows him how these little delicate critters called Chow are protected by a guardian known as Chaos. This seemingly insignificant scene plants the seed in Gamma's mind for later, where he is convinced by Amy to set her and the baby bird from before free from captivity. She then convinces him to free himself from Eggman's grip, and after seeing the questionable things Eggman has done to the other E100 models in his lineage, he acquiesces. It's an unexpectedly touching story about one of Eggman's robots, of all things, discovering the good within its own heart. Gamma then sets out on a heroic mission to free each of the other E100 models from themselves? I mean, he ends up killing all of them, so I can only assume that's what he meant by freeing them. This game is deep like that, yo. Speaking of deep, Gamma ends up getting shot point blank deep into his sternum, where he actually effing dies. He dies, and that's the end. It's crazy, you know? Seeing a significant Sonic character actually die on screen like that, that's just, oh yeah, that's right. So here's the deal. I enjoy the majority of Sonic Adventure. I think Sonic's story is awesome. Tails is passable, Knuckles and Amy are fun enough, the less said about Big the Cat the better, and E102 Gamma makes up for its forgettable shooting gallery with a cute story that tugs at the heartstrings. The final boss caps everything off in epic fashion, with a duel between Super Sonic and Perfect Chaos. I think this last boss is effective because it utilizes Sonic's most important attribute, speed, to enhance the magnitude of this fight. As you race across the water toward Chaos, you see all the destruction this monster has left in its wake. Destruction that stretches seemingly for miles. That, combined with your rapidly depleting ring count, builds urgency within the player, pushing you to build more and more speed so you can end this as soon as you can. It's amazing, really. I think that last fight is representative of just how ambitious Sonic Adventure really is, for better or worse. We've seen lots of good here, but because of how ambitious it is, and because of how many different moving parts there are to this beast, it's inevitable there will be plenty of issues. I could sit here and go over in great detail the never-ending list of glitches I encountered, or I could just show a few of my favorite ones to you in a nice little compilation. I could nitpick the scatterbrained story that tries a little too hard to be epic, but fails due to it spreading itself too thin among too many characters. I could talk some serious shit on the cutscenes and how the robotic nature of the character models is agonizingly cringeworthy. I could repeatedly question the decision to have 6 different gameplay styles piled into one game, and holy Christ, I was just playing as Sonic, why the hell am I now going fishing? Oh my god, now I'm a robot shooting at other robots, but wait, my robot just exploded and he's a bird now, what is even going on anymore? I don't know what to think of Sonic Adventure, honestly. I enjoyed it, but my goodness, some of the decisions that were made with this thing was absolute chaos. Let me know what y'all think of it down in the comments, and just go ham, honestly. Like, I think Sonic Adventure, like, if there's any game out there, Sonic Adventure deserves a huge flame war right now. Y'all have fun. I need to go lie down. God, this game, it just